biggest cyber attack in the history of online presence. Those are words that spell doom for anybody whose life is spent on the internet. No wonder there were headlines which said internet apocalypse. But does this really mean that? Well, it's more like warning bells than anything else. The impact of the cyber attack was much more limited than a lot of news stories would lead you to believe. It was particularly limited. In fact, in India, the internet disruption was largely felt in Europe, and the reported scale of the attack, according to details coming in, was approximately 300 gigabytes per second. Now, this is how it works. Attackers use multiple servers to send simultaneous requests to targets, causing them to crash. Companies who monitored internet traffic say that the cyber attack has ended. The attack in this particular case targeted Spam House, a spam tracking group which publishes blacklists to check email spam. Spam House has accused Cyberbunker, a Dutch company, of the internet attack. Cyberbunker had been blacklisted by Spam House just a couple of weeks ago. And Kapil Sibal reiterated that the impact on India was minimal and that measures are being put in place to ensure that it doesn't affect the country.
Certain websites are being targeted, and because of which internet traffic has slowed down, and certain sites are loading slowly or not loading at all. What has the impact been in India, sir?
Very marginal. I mean, only BSNL has been impacted, and that also the sites have slowed down 3 to 4%. That also in the south, in Kerala and some parts of South India. The north has not been affected at all, and the private operators have not been affected because most of the DNS servers are here, and therefore there's no real impact. And also by the evening, this will all be settled.
Okay, so if you can just explain to the viewers, why has India managed to safeguard itself against this? Because it's a global concern.
Yeah, because most of the DNS are here, located in India, so it really doesn't impact that much. But of course, BSNL is affected by this. But that, as I said, is very, very marginally.
Lastly, anything being done to advise, or has any advisories been issued to websites, especially government websites, which could be sensitive, and if work is in any way impacted because
As I said, that most of the sites are not impacted in this part of the country, the northern part of the country. Okay. And the advisory will only issue if there is any long-term impact. By the evening, all this will also be back to normal. Okay. So I don't think it's necessary to advise. And in any case, the slow working of the net is only to the extent of 3 to 4%.
And NDTV's tech guru Rajiv Makni joins us now to allay your fears. Rajiv, first of all, just break down for us what happened, what went wrong.
Okay, so I'll start off by just telling you that everybody who's coming up with these doomsday predictions that the internet is about to die and will never ever wake up again, well, that's not going to happen. That's where I'm going to start with. The impact has been severe in major parts of the world, but not at all in India. I would actually say 2 to 3% only in India. Now let's get down to what's really happened. So this is one of the first times that an online battle between one organization and another very powerful set of organizations has actually led to the slowdown of the internet. So the Geneva-based company Spam House, which is basically a company that blacklists those companies that it feels are spam providers, actually blacklisted a few companies that said that it was done in error, and those companies said they shouldn't be on the list, and they again went out and did this, which is called a denial of service. They put in so much of data that is sent in one direction towards a particular server or an organization like this Geneva-based company Spam House, that the entire internet starts to crawl. The only thing was that because of the very sophistication of the internet, the amount of data that actually was sent as a denial of service this time was record-breaking. I mean, this is a cyber attack of epic proportions. Negative, of course, it's a record breaker in negative ways, but it actually slowed down the net to many different places. In fact, there were websites that went completely down. But will this bring the internet down? There's nothing like that. This has not affected the internet infrastructure in itself. This is a very specific target. There is a very specific organization being targeted. And let's just put it in as simple words as possible. Anybody that comes within the path of that denial of service attack will get affected. That's pretty much it.
Right, thank you Rajiv for joining us with that report. Rajiv Makni there really explaining what happened, talking about why it is a perceived threat, but why it's nowhere close to being as bad as perhaps some people would have you believe. And in fact, joining us now to talk about where India stands in the larger picture of DDoS attacks, Rajesh Chharia, the President of the Internet Services Providers Association of India. Thank you, sir, for speaking with us on NDTV. First of all, we were talking about threat perception. And I think there is a very real fear, given the global presence and particularly the increasing presence in India of internet dependence, that a threat like this, given that India is a prime terror target, could be hugely, it could have a huge impact.
You are right, Kakuri, because now into the India, internet has become a financial backbone. All the services, all the activities are now linked with the internet. And with the target of 600 million broadband connection into the India by 2020, as the government has given, our dependency is increasing day by day. The similar activity has not the cyber war, the cable cutoff, the submarine cable cutoff has happened also into the around 5 to 6 years back. And at that time, around 50 to 60% of our internet has gone down. But this year, thanks to the service provider and our action plan, that we were able to shift our traffic to the Pacific region. No doubtly it is slow. Right now we are into the festive season. Maybe this can be caused that the effect is not getting, we are not able to realize the effect today. But from the Monday, when the new year will start and the new week will start, then we will experiencing a lot. Because first of all, this DDoS attack, the cyber war between the two organizations. And the another thing, cable cutoff of four cables are cut off. One is the CMEV4, right. One is the IMEVV, one is the EIG, and one is the TEMG. And it's a very, become a joke that 4 persons are diving into the near to the Egypt, and thus they are just cutting off the cable and they're making the whole country paralyzed.
So, sir, let's talk about the DDoS attack first. We heard Mr. Sibal, the IT Minister, just saying that one of the reasons India is protected from that is because our DNS servers are based out of India. Is that the case?
Exactly. A lot of DNS servers are now based in India. That's the reason we are able to save ourselves from the DDoS attack. But at the same time, what I will find that a lot of contents, lot of hosting of our websites are not in India, due to a lot of other reasons, but those are into the US or the European portion of our world. But when we will accessing those websites, we will be finding a delay into accessing that website. Even some of our critical websites are also into the US and UK due to the very good infrastructure available over there. So what we have advised to the government is that we should promote the hosting within the country so that this type of attack is not going to impact us at lot.
So that, of course, is one of the conditions that we need to consider going ahead, because is it, correct me if I'm wrong, but the perception is now that DDoS attacks are increasing. We're hearing about one-on-one personalized DDoS attacks. We're hearing about amplified attacks like this one. It seems to be a very clear way of waging war online. So protecting ourselves right now is imperative. Other than this way, what are the other ways that we can protect ourselves?
The other way is protecting is the National Internet Exchange of India. The National Internet Exchange of India has opened their 9 to 10 nodes within the country, and all those nodes where we can exchange our traffic and we don't have to rely on the international traffic or the international hosting at all. And if we are just depending on our network and if we are securing our network strongly, what we are doing right now, whatsoever the DDoS attack is happening overseas will not be impacting. Whatsoever the cable cutoff is happening overseas will not affect. And CERT-In is very much in action for avoiding this type of attacks and this type of activity within the country. And into the new IT Act, we have taken this matter in a very big task that if anybody is found doing the spamming or doing any cyber type attack in the internet, that will be getting penalized under the IT Act amended.
Right, and one last question, sir, before we let you go, and that is that of course, because this is a global threat, India has to work in concert with global norms, global regulations. Do you think that there is insufficient dialogue happening on that front?
Now, the very good question, Kakuri, because we are now saying about the same thing. two organizations are fighting with each other and they are taking on ransom the complete world. This should not happen. All the countries now should come together, have a discussion on this. Okay, this type of things can be avoided because every country is now relying on the internet. And if two organizations are fighting and they are making us or taking us on a ransom, this is very ridiculous.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, for
Thank you very
speaking
much.
with us on NDTV 24/7.